Hello and welcome to this second look exploring session, the marriage of wit and science, or a new and pleasant interlude entitled The Marriage of Wit and Science. This is a variation on a theme. We have three wit and science, or wit and wit. There are three plays. There's an original play, the play of wit and science, of which is missing an opening, which we've also done a second look on. And this is the second iteration that appears about 15-20 years later. This is, I don't know, over 20 years later. Anyway, this is our second look, so we're going to be running at this at pace. We're not going to be reading stage directions, so there may be some action that will be a bit incomprehensible, but we're here to get the sense of the flow and give it some energy, and also just find out how long it lasts, which is quite useful data for me further down the line. And also there will be some songs, but say nobody is necessarily going to be attempting to sing them beautifully. They will just mark them to make sure that we know that they are songs. But again, this is all a script that has been handed to people at relatively short notice, in some cases parts that they didn't know they had until about 5 minutes ago. And yeah, they're going to see how it all goes. So today, reading Nature, Instruction and Shame is...
Hi, Olga, here.
Reading Reason and Recreation is...
Aaron, in the Pacific Northwest of the United States.
Reading Experience and Tediousness is...
Lynn, also in the Northwestern United States.
Reading Wit is...
Alexandra, all my wit today is scripted.
Reading Will today is...
Mark in the Midwest United States.
Reading Science is...
Lois in London.
Reading Study and Ignorance is... Ooh. Suddenly Absent.
Oh no.
Okay, looks like we'll see how that plans out in a moment, but that, in theory, that's Alan, but it might be me in a bit. Reading Diligence and Idleness is...
Rachel in Canada.
And I'm your host, Robert Crighton. In theory, I'm disappearing now, but in practice, I might be back later as we figure out who's going to be reading Study and Ignorance later on. However, we're going to plough on ahead regardless. Act 1, Scene 1, the play begins.
Grand lady, mother of every mortal thing, nurse of the world, conservative of kind, cause of increase of life and soul the spring, at whose instinct the noble heaven doth wind, to whose award all creatures are assigned, I come in place to treat with this my son, for his avail how he the path may find, whereby his race in honour he may run. Come, tender child, unripened, green for age, in whom the parent sets her chief delight. Wit is thy name, but far from wisdom sage, till tract of time shall work and frame aright this peerless brain, not yet in perfect plight. But when it shall be wrought, methinks I see, as in a glass beforehand with my sight, a certain perfect piece of work in thee. And now, so far as I can guess by signs, some great attempt is fixed in thy breast. Speak on, my son, whereto thy heart inclines, and let me deal to set thy heart at rest. He solves the sore that knows the patient best, as I do thee, my son, my chiefest care, in whom my special praise and joy doth rest. To me, therefore, these thoughts of thine declare.
My sovereign queen and parent, passing dear, whose force I am enforced to know and acknowledge everywhere, this care of mine, though it be bred within my breast, yet it is not so ripe as yet to breed me great unrest. So run I to and fro with hapluck as I find, now fast, now loose, now hot, now cold, inconstant as the wind. I feel myself in love, yet not inflamed so, but causes move me now and then to let such fancies go, which causes prevailing sets each thing else in doubt, much like the nail that last came in and drives the former out. Wherefore My suit is this, that it would please your grace to settle this unsettled head in some assured place, to lead me through the thick, to guide me all the way, to point me where I may achieve my most desired prey, for now again of late I kindle in desire, and pleasure pricketh forth my youth to feel a greater fire. Yet are there many in this land that at my what? Though I be too young to show her sport in bed, yet are there many in this land that at my years do wed, and though I wed not yet am I old enow to serve my lady to my power, and to begin to woo.
What is that lady, son, which thus thy heart doth move?
A lady whom it might beseem high Jove himself to love.
Who taught thee her to love, or hast thou seen her face?
Nor this nor that, but I heard men talk of her apace.
What is her name?
Reason is her sire, experience is her dame. The lady now is in her flower, and science is her name. Lo, where she dwells, lo, where my heart is all possessed, lo, where my body would abide, lo, where my soul doth rest. Her have I borne goodwill these many years tofore, but now she lodgeth in my thought 100 parts the more. And since I do persuade myself that this is she which ought above all earthly wights to be most dear to me, and since I wot not how to compass my desire, and since for shame I cannot now nor mind not to retire, help on, I do beseech, and bring this thing about, without your hurt to my great ease, and set all out of doubt.
Thou askest more than is in me to give, more than thy cause, more than thy state will bear. They are two things to able thee to live, and to live so that none should be thy peer. The first from me proceedeth everywhere. But this by toil and practice of the mind is set full far, God wot, and bought full dear by those that seek the fruit thereof to find, to match thee then with science in degree, to knit that knot that few may reach unto. I tell thee plain, it lieth not in me. Why should I change that I cannot do? But thou must take another way to rule, and beat thy brain and bend thy curious head, both ride and run and travel to and fro, if thou intend that famous dame to wed.
You name yourself the lady of this world.
It is true.
And can there be within this world a thing too hard for you?
My power it is not absolute in jurisdiction, for I cognize another Lord above, that hath received unto his disposition the soul of man, which he of special love to gifts of grace and learning eke doth move. A work so far beyond my reach and call, that unto part of praise with him myself to show, might soon procure my well-deserved fall. He makes the frame, and I receive it so, no jot therein altered for my head, and as I it receive, I let it go, causing therein such sparkles to be bred as he commits to me, by whom I must be led, who guides me first, and in me guides the rest, all which in their due course and kind are spread of gifts from me, such as may serve them best. To thee, son wit, he willed me to inspire the love of knowledge, and certain seeds divine, which ground might be a mean to bring thee here. I thereunto thyself thou wilt incline. The massy gold the cunning hand makes fine. Good grounds are tilled, as well as are the worst. The rankest flower will ask a springing time. So is man's wit unperfect at the first.
If cunning be the key and well of worldly bliss, methinketh God might at the first as well endue all with this.
As cunning is the key of bliss, so it is worthy praise. The worthiest things are won with pain in tract of time always.
And yet right worthy things there are, you will confess, I trow, which notwithstanding, at our birth God doth on us bestow.
There are, but such as unto you that have the great to name, I rather that bestow than win thereby immortal fame.
Fain would I learn what harm or detriment ensued if any man were at his birth with these good gifts endued.
There should be nothing left wherein man might excel. No blame for sin, no praise to them that had designed well. Virtue should lose her price, and learning would abound. And as man would admire the thing, that each where might be found, the great estate that have of me and fortune what they will, should have no need to look to those whose had are fraught with skill. The meaner sort, that now excel in virtues of the mind, should not be once accepted there, where now they succour find. For great men should be spared of all, and would have need of none, and he that were not born to land should lack to live upon. These and 5,000 causes mo, which I forbear to tell, the noble virtue of the mind have caused there to dwell, where none may have access, but such as can get in, through many double doors, through heat, through cold, through thick and thin.
Suppose I would address myself to seek her out, and to refuse no pain that lieth thereabout. Should I be sure to speed?
Trust me, and have no doubt. Thou canst not choose but speed with travail and with time. These two are they that must direct thee how to climb.
With travail and with time, must they needs join in one?
Nor that, nor this can do thee good, if they be took alone.
Time worketh all with ease, and gives the greatest dint. In him soft water drops can hollow hardest flint. Again, with labour by itself, great matters compassed be, even at a gird, in very little time, or none, we see. Wherefore in my conceit good reason it is, either this without that to look, or that without this.
Sad case thou didst attempt to climb Parnassus hill. Take time 500,000 years and longer if thou will. Trowest thou to touch the top thereof by standing still? Again work out thy heart, and spend thyself with toil. Take time withal, or else I dare shew thee of the foil.
Madam, I trust I have your license and your leave, with your goodwill, and so much help as you to me can give. With further aid also, when you shall spy your time, to make a proof, to give attempt, this famous hill to climb. And now I here request your blessing and your prayer, for sure before I sleep I will to yonder fort repair.
I bless thee here with all such gifts as nature can bestow, and for thy sake I would there were as many 100 more. Take there with all this child, to wait upon thee still, a bird of mine, some kin to thee, his name is Will.
Welcome to me, my Will. What service canst thou do?
All things, forsooth, sir, when me list, and more too.
But whether wilt thou list when I shall list, I trow?
Trust not to that. Peradventure yea, peradventure no.
When I have need of thee, thou wilt not serve me so.
If you bid me run, perhaps I will go.
So this is the boy for the nonce amongst 20 more.
I am plain, I tell you, at a word and a blow.
Then must I prick you, child, if you be drowned in sloth.
Agree you twain, for I must leave you both. Farewell, my son, farewell, mine own good will. Be ruled by wit, and be obedient still. Force thee I cannot, but as far as lies in me, I will help thy master to make a good servant of thee. Farewell.
Adieu, lady mother, with thanks for all your pain. And now let me bethink myself again. And eke again, to match with science, is the thing that I have took in hand, a matter of more weight, I see, than I did understand. Will must be won to this, or else it will be hard. Will must go break the matter first, or else my game is marred. Sir, boy, Are you content to take such part for me as God shall send, and help it forth as much as lies in thee?
Yea, master, by his wounds, or else cut off his head.
Come then, and let us two devise what trace were best to tread. Nature is on my side, and Will, my boy, is fast. There is no doubt I shall obtain my joys at last. Oh, what? Will? I say, Will, boy, come again, foolish elf.
I cry you mercy, sir, you are a tall man yourself.
To crack brain as thou art, I never saw the like to it.
Ah, truth and respect of you that are nothing else but wit.
Canst thou tell me thy errand, because thou art gone so soon?
I can remember a long tale of a man in the moon with such a circumstance and such a flim-flam. I will tell at a word whose servant I am, wherefore I come and what I have to say, and call for her answer before I come away. What, should I make a broad tree of every little shrub, and keep her a great while with a tail of a tub?
Thou must commend me to be rich, lusty, pleasant, and wise.
I cannot commend you, but I must make 20 lies. Rich, quoth you? That appeareth by the port that you keep, even as rich as a new-shorn sheep, of pleasant conceits, 10 bushels to the peck, lusty like a herring with a bell about his neck, wise as a woodcock, as brag as a body louse, a man of your hands to match with a mouse. How say you, are not these proper qualities to praise you with?
Leave these mad toys of thine and come to the pith. One part of the errand should have been to give her this picture of mine to be seen, and to request her the same to accept safely until my coming to be kept, which I suspect till thy return, and then if it like her ladyship to appoint me where and when, I will wait upon her gladly out of hand.
Sir, let me alone. Your mind I understand. I will handle the matter so that you shall owe me thanks. But what if she find fault with these spindle shanks, or else with these black spots on your nose?
Faith, sir boy, this talk deserveth blows.
You will not misuse your best servant, I suppose, for by his nails, and by his fingers too, I will mar your marriage if you do so.
I prithee go thy ways and leave this clatter.
First, shall I be so bold to break to you a matter?
Hush, thou art disposed to spend words in waste, and yet thou knowest this business asketh haste.
But even 2 words, and then I'm gone.
If it be worth the hearing, say on.
I would not have you think that I, for my part, from my promise or from your service will depart, but yet now and then it goeth to my heart when I think how this marriage may be to my smart.
Why so?
I would tell you the cause, if I durst for shame.
Speak hardily what thou wilt, without any blame.
I am not disposed as yet to be tame, and therefore am loath to be under a dame. And now you are a bachelor. A man may soon win you. Methinks there is some good fellowship in you. We may laugh and be merry at board and at bed. You are not so testy as those that be wed. Mild in behavior and loath to fall out. You may run, you may ride and rove round about with wealth at your will and thing at ease, free, frank, and lusty, easy to please. But you be clogged and tied by the toe so fast that you shall not have power to let go, you will tell me another lesson soon after, and cry peccavi too, except your luck be the better. Then farewell, good fellowship, then come at a call, then wait in an inch, you idle knaves all, then sparing and pinching, and nothing of gift. No talk with our master, but all for his thrift. Solemn and sour and angry as a wasp, all things must be kept under the lock and hasp. All that which will make me to fare full ill, all your care shall be to hamper poor Will.
I warrant thee. For that take thou no thought. Thou shalt be made of, whosoever be set at naught, as dear to me as mine own dear brother. Whosoever be one, thou shalt be another.
Yea, but your wife will play the shrew, pardie. It is she that I fear.
The message will cause her some favour to bear for my sake and thy sake, and for her own likewise, if thou use thyself discreetly to this enterprise.
She hath a father, a testy, sour old man. I doubt lest he and I shall fall out now and then.
Give him fair words. Forbear him for his age. Thou must consider him to be ancient and sage. Show thyself officious and serviceable still, and then shall reason make very much of will.
If your wife be ever complaining, oh, what then?
My wife will have nothing to do with my men.
If she do, believe her not in any wise, and when you once perceive her stomach to rise, then cut her short at the first, and you shall see a marvelous virtue in that medicine to be. Give her not the bridle for a year or twain, and you shall see her bridle it without a rein. Break her betimes and bring her under by force, or else the grey mare will be the better horse.
If thou have done, be gone, and spend no time in vain.
Where shall I find you when I come again?
At home.
Ah, good enough. Take your ease. Let me alone with this. Such a treasure of all treasures it is to serve such a master as I hope him to be, and to have such a servant as he hath of me, for I am quick, nimble, proper, and nice. He is full good, gentle, sober, and wise. He is full both to chide or to check, and I am as willing to serve at a beck. He orders me well, and speaks me so fair, that for his sake no travail I must spare. But now I come to the gate of this lady, I will pause a while to frame mine errands finely. And lo, where she cometh! Yet will I not come nigh her, but among these fellows will I stand to eye her.
My parents, ye know how many fall and lapse that do ascribe to me the cause of their mishaps. How many seek that come too short of their desire. How many do attempt that daily do retire. How many rove about the mark on every side. How many think to hit when they are much too wide. How many run too far, how many light too low. How few to good effect their travail do bestow. And how all these impute their losses unto me. Should I have joy to think of marriage now, trow ye? What saith the world? My love alone, say they, is bought so dear that life and goods for it must pay. Strong youth must spend itself, and yet when all is done, we hear of few or none that have this lady won. On me they make outcries, and charge me with the blood of those that for my sake adventure life and good. This grief doth wound my heart so, that suitors more, as yet I see no cause nor reason why I should admit.
Ah, daughter, say not so. There is great cause and skill for which you should mislike to live unmarried thus alone. What comfort can you have remaining thus unknown? How shall the commonwealth by you advanced be, if you abide enclosed here, where no man may you see? It is not for your state yourself to take the pain. All strangers shall resort to you to entertain, to suffer free access of all that come and go, to be at each man's call, to travel to and fro. What then, since God hath placed such treasure in your breast, wherewith so many thousand think by you to be refreshed, needs must you have some one of high and secret trust, by whom these things may be well ordered and discussed? To him you must disclose the depth of all your thought. By him, as time shall serve, all matters must be wrought. To him alone you must content yourself to be at call. Ye must be his, he must be yours, he must be all in all.
My lord, your father tells you truth, Perdie, and that in time yourself shall find and try.
I could allege more than as yet I have said, but I must yield, and you must be obeyed. Fall out as it will, there is no help, I see. Someone or other in time must marry me.
In time? Nay, out of hand, madam, if it please you. In faith, I know a yonker that will ease you, a lively young gentleman as fresh as any flower that will not stick to marry you within this hour.
Such haste might haply turn to waste to some. But I pray thee, my pretty boy, whence art thou come?
If it please your good ladyship to accept me so, I have a solemn message to tell ere I go. Not anything in secret, your honor, to stain, but in the presence and hearing of you twain.
Speak.
The lady of this world, which lady nature hight, hath one a peerless son, in whom she taketh delight. On him she chargeth men to be attendant still, both kin to her. His name is Wit. My name is Will. The noble child doth feel the force of Cupid's flame, and seeketh now for ease by counsel of his dame. His mother taught him first to love while he was young, which love with age increaseth sore, and waxeth wondrous strong. For very fame displays your bounty more and more, and at this pinch he burneth so as never heretofore. Not fantasize forsooth, not vain and idle toys of love, not hope of that which commonly doth other suitors move, but fixed fast good will that never shall relent, and virtue's force that shines in you bade him give this attempt. He hath no need of wealth, he woos not for your good. His kindred is such he need not to seek to match with noble blood. Such store of friends that where he list he may command, and none so hardy to presume his pleasure to withstand. Yourself it is, madam, your virtue and your grace, your noble gifts, your endless praise in every place. You alone, I say, the mark that he would hit, the hope and joy, the dearest prey that can befall to wit.
I have not heard a message more trimly done.
Nor I. What age art thou of, my good son?
Between 11 and 12, madam, more or less.
He hath been instructed this errand, as I guess.
How old is the gentleman thy master, canst thou tell?
17 or thereabouts? I wot not very well.
What stature, of what making, what kind of part bears he?
Such as your ladyship cannot mislike, trust me. Well grown, well made, a stripling, clean and tall, well favored, somewhat black and manly therewithal, and that you may conceive his personage the better, lo, hear of him the very shape and lively picture. This hath he sent you to view and to behold. I dare advouch to no joint therein, no jot to be controlled.
In good faith, I thank thy master with my heart. I perceive that nature in him hath done her part.
Farther, if it please your honor to know, my master would be glad to run, ride, or go at your commandment to any place, far or near, to have but a sight of your ladyship there. I beseech you appoint him the place and the hour. You shall see how readily to you he will scour.
Do so.
Yea, in any wise, daughter, for hear you me, he seemeth a right worthy and trim young man to be.
Commend me then to Wit, and let him understand that I accept with all my heart this present at his hand, and that I would be glad, when he doth see his time, to hear and see him face to face within this house of mine. Then may he break his mind and talk with me his fill. Till then, adieu, both he and thou, mine own sweet little Will.
Flattering queen, how neatly she can talk, how minionly she trips, how sadly she can walk. Well, wanton, yet beware that ye be sound and sure. Fair words are wont oft times fair women to allure. Now must I get me home and make report of this to him that thinks it long to my return, I wis.
Say'st thou me so, boy? Will she have me indeed?
Be of good cheer, sir, I warrant you to speed.
Did both her parents speak well to her of me?
As heart can think. Go on, and you shall see.
Oh, how took she the picture? How liketh she my person?
Ooh, she never had done toting and looking thereon.
And when must I come to talk to her, my Phil?
Whensoever you please, and as oft as you will.
Ah, my sweet boy! How shall I recompense thy faithful heart and painful diligence, my hope, my stay, my wealth, the key of all my joy?
I pray you, sir, call me your man, not your boy.
Thou shalt be what thou wilt, all in all.
Yes! Promise me faithfully that, if your wife brawl, or set her father to check me out of measure, you will not see me abused to their pleasure.
Give me thy hand. Take here my faith and troth. I will maintain thee, however the world goeth. What shall we do? Shall we stand lingering here?
If you be a man, press in and go near.
What if there be some other suitors there?
And if there be, yet need you not to fear, until I bring his head to you upon a spear, and will not look you in the face nor in your sight appear.
Nay, wit, advise yourself, and pause a while, or else this haste of yours will you beguile.
No haste, but good. Take time and learn to fight. Learn to assault. Learn to defend a right. Your match is monstrous to behold and full of might, whom you must vanquish, not by force, but by sleight.
Madam, stand to your promise. If I win, I am sped, am I not?
Yes, truly.
Good enough. If we fight not, I would we were dead. No man shall stay us that bears a head.
Young man, a word or twain, and then adieu. Your years are few, your practice green and new. Mark what I say, and ye shall find it true. You are the first that shall this rashness rue. Be ruled here, our counsel do thereafter. Lay good ground, your work shall be the faster. This headlong haste may sooner miss than hit. Take heed both of witless will and willful wit. We have within a gentleman, our retainer and our friend, with servants twain that do on him attend. Instruction, study, diligence. These three, at your commandment, in this attempt shall be. Hear them instead of us, and as they shall devise, so heartily cast your cards in this enterprise. I will send them to you and leave you for now.
The more company the merrier. Boy, what sayst thou?
It is a good fault to have more than enough. I care not so as we may put the knaves down. I would we were at it. I pass not how soon.
If it shall please you to send those three hither, we will follow your counsel, and go together.
I warrant her a shrew, whosoever be another. God make the daughter good, I like not the mother.
Yet would not I for no good to have forgone her.
Marry, sir, indeed she talks and takes on her like a dame, nay, like a duchess or queen, with such solemnity as I have not seen.
She is a queen, I tell thee, in her degree.
Let her be what she list, with a vengeance for me. I will keep me out of her reach if I can.
If this marriage go forward, thou must be her man.
Marriage or marriage not, beshrew me then, I have but one master, and I will serve no mo. If he anger me, I'll forsake him too.
She shall not hurt thee, unless her cause be just her.
By the faith of my body, sir, I intend not to trust her.
Why?
Take me this woman that talks so roundly, that be so wise, that reasons so soundly, that looks so narrow, that speaks so shrill. Their words are not so cursed, but their deeds are ill.
It is but thy fancy. I see no such thing in her.
Perhaps you had never occasion to try her?
That were great marvel in so many years.
She hath won the mastery of you, it appears.
You shall take no wrong, methinks. Our three companions tarry very long.
Sir, we are come to know your pleasure.
You are come in good time, Instruction, our treasure. This gentleman craveth your acquaintance and aid. What you may do for him, let him not be denied.
Welcome, good fellows. Will ye dwell with me?
If all parties are pleased, content are we.
Welcome, Instruction, with all my heart.
What, 3 new servants? Oh, then farewell my part.
I heartily thank you, and look what I can do. I shall be always ready to pleasure you.
Consider and talk together with these, and you shall find in your travail great ease. Take care of me before I take my leave. This glass of crystal clear which I give you, accept it and reserve it for my sake most sure. Much good to you in time it may procure. Behold yourself therein, and view and pry. Mark what defects it will discover and descry. And so with judgment ripe and curious eye, what is amiss endeavor to supply. Farewell.
Farewell to you, right honourable sire, and commend me to my love, my heart's desire. Let her think on me when she sees me not, and wish me well.
Farewell, Master Reason, think upon us when you see us not, and in any wise let not will be forgot.
Since I must take advice and counsel of you three, I must entreat you all to dwell in house with me, and look what order you shall prescribe as needful to keep the same. You shall find me as heedful. Come.
I come.
I go.
Tush, tush, Instruction, your talk is of no force. You tell us a tale of a roasted horse, which by his wounds, except we set to it as fast as we make, these fellows will undo it. Their talk is nothing but soft and fair and dairy. If you follow their counsel, you shall never marry.
To follow our counsel, your charge and promise was.
They've never known you, by the mass. Must I look so long, and spend my life with toil? Nay, sure, I will either win it or take the foil.
The surer is your ground, the better you shall bear it.
Ground us no ground. Let him win it and wear it.
Good sir, be ruled, and leave this peevish elf.
I had even as lief you bade me hang myself. Leave him? No, no, I would you all knew you be but loiterers to him. My will tells me true. I could be content with a week, yea, a month or twain, but 3 or 4 years? Marry, that were a pain. So long to keep me and lie like a hog.
A life with all my heart I would not wish a dog.
Will a week serve?
No,
A month?
neither.
No?
Not so.
No, nor so many mo.
Then farewell all, for as I hope to thrive, I will prove him ere I sleep, if I be alive. And if you be mine, and good fellows, all 3, go thither out of hand and take your chance with me.
For my part, I know I can do you no good.
You are a proper man of your hands, by the rood. Yet well fare him that never his master forsaketh.
What sayst thou, study?
My head acheth.
Out upon thee, coward! Speak, Diligence.
Against Instruction's mind, I am loath to go hence, yet I will make one rather than you should lack.
Perhaps we may find them this time in bed.
So much the rather look you to be sped. Care for no more, but wants to come within her. And when you have done, then let another win her.
To come within her, child. What meanst thou by that?
One master a penny. You know what is what.
Heard you ever such a counsel of such a Jack Sprat?
Why, sir, do you think to do any good if you stand in a corner like Robin Hood? Nay, you must stout it and face it out with the best. Set on a good countenance, make the most of the least. Whosoever skip in, look to your part, and while you live, beware of a false heart.
Both blame and shame rash boldness doth breed.
You must adventure both. Spare to speak, spare to speed. What? Tell you me of shame? It is shame to steal a horse.
More haste than good speed makes many fare the worse.
But he that takes not such time while he may shall leap at a whiting when time is away.
But he that leaps before he look, good son, may leap in the mire and miss when he hath done.
Methink I hear the voice of Will, a wit's boy.
I see her come, her sorrow and my joy, my salve and yet my sore, my comfort and my care, the causer of my wound, and yet the well of my welfare. Oh, happy wight that holdeth me from, happy wight that have the saint of your request. Oh, hopeless hope that holdeth me from that which liketh me best. Twixt hope and fear I stand, to mar, or else to make this day to be relieved quite, or else my death wound to take.
Here, let us rest a while, and pause all three.
Be of good cheer, sir. Be ruled by me. Women are best pleased till they be used homely. Look her in the face and tell your tale stoutly.
Pearl of passing price, set down from God on high, the sweetest beauty to entice that hath been seen with eye, the well of wealth to all that no man doth annoy, the key of kingdoms, and the seal of everlasting joy, the treasure and the store whom all good things began, the nurse of Lady Wisdom's love, the link of man and man. What words shall me suffice to utter my desire? What heat of talk shall I devise for to express my fire? I burn, and yet I freeze. I flame and cool as fast in hope to win and for to lead. My pensiveness doth last. Why should my dull spirit appall my courage so? Oh, salve my sore, or slay me quite, by saying yea or no. You are the mark at whom I shoot, to hit or miss. My life, it stays on you alone. To you my suit it is. Suit not much unmeet with you, some grace to find. Dame Nature's son, my name is Wit, that fancies you my kind, and here I come this day to wait and to attend, in hope to have my hope and pray, or else my life to end.
Good cause there is, wherefore I should embrace the loving heart which you have borne to me, and glad I am that we be both in place, each one of us each other's looks to see. Your picture and your person doth agree, your prince-like port and eke your noble face, wherein so many signs of virtue be, that I must needs be moved in your case.
Friend Wit, are you the man indeed which you intend? Can you be well content until your life doth end, to join and knit most sure with this my daughter here, and unto her alone your fixed faith to bear?
As I am bent to this, so let my suit be sped. If I do fail, 10,000 plagues, and more, light on my head.
There are that promise fair and mean as well as any heart can think or tongue can tell, which at the first are hot and kindle in desire, but in 1 month or twain quite quenched is the fire. Such is the train of youth whom fancy's forth doth lead, whose love is only at the plunge and cannot long proceed.
Credit my words, and ye shall find me true.
Suppose you keep not touch, who should this bargain rule?
I will be sworn here solemnly before you both.
Who breaketh promise will not stick likewise to break his oath.
I will be bound in all that ever I can make.
What good were that to us if with advantage take?
Will neither promise serve, nor oath, nor bands? What other assurance will ye ask at my hands?
My master is a gentleman, I tell you, and his word, I would you knew it, shall with his deeds accord.
We know not whom to trust, the world is so ill.
Indeed, sir, as you say, you may mend when you will, but in good earnest, madam, speak. Off or on? Shall we speed at your hand, or shall we be gone? I love not these delays. Say so, if we shall have you. If not, say no, and let another crave you.
Sir boy, you talk, you know not what.
Can you abide to be driven off with this and that? Can they ask any more than good assurance at your hands?
All is now too little, son, as the matter stands.
If all be too little, both goods and lands, I know not what will please you except Darby's bands.
I have an enemy, good wit, a mortal foe to me, and therewithal the greatest plague that can befall to thee.
Must I fight with him?
Can you fight, if need be?
If any such thing fall, count the charge to me. Trouble not yourself.
Hold thy peace, elf.
Hear out my tale. I have a mortal foe that lurketh in the wood hereby as you come and go. This monstrous giant bears a grudge to me and mine, and will attempt to keep thee back from this desire of thine. The bane of youth, the root of ruin and distress, devouring those that sue to me. His name is Tediousness. No sooner he espies the noble wit begin to stir and pain itself, the love of me to win, but forth he steps, and with strong hands by might and main, he beats and buffets down the force and liveliness of brain. That done, in deep despair he drowns him villainously. 10,000 suitors in a year are cast away thereby. Now, if your mind be surely fixed so, that for no toil nor cost my love you will forego, bethink you well, and of this monster take good heed. Then may you have with me the greater hope to speed. Herein use good advice to make you strong and stout, to fend and keep him off a while until his rage be out. Then, when you feel yourself well able to prevail, bid you the battle, and that so courageously assail. If you can win the field, present me with his head. I ask no more, and I forthwith shall be your own to bed.
Might I thrive, and lack that likes me best, if I be not a scourge to him that breedeth you unrest. Madam, assure yourself, he lives not in the land with whom I would not in your case encounter hand to hand. And as for Tediousness, that wretch, common foe, let me alone. We twain shall cope before I sleep, I trow.
Lustily spoken, let me claw thee by the back. How say you now, sir? Here are 3 against twain.
Go, that go list. I will at home remain. I have more need to take a nap in my bed.
Do so, and hear you couch a cod's head.
Well, since it will none otherwise frame, let us twain study return from whence we came.
Agreed.
And let us 3 bestir ourselves like men. Unlikely things are brought to pass by courage now and then. My will be always pressed, and ready at an inch to save thyself, to succour me, to help at every pinch. Both twain on either side assault him, if we can, if ye can. And you shall see me in the midst, how I will play the man. This is the deadly den, as far as I perceive. Approach we near, and valiantly let us the onset give. Come forth, thou monster fell, in drowsy darkness hid, for here is wit, Dame Nature's son, that doth thee battle bid.
What pringcocks have we here that dares me to assail? Alas, poor boy, and weenest thou against me to prevail? Full small was he thy friend, whoever sent thee hither, for I must drive thee back with shame, or slay thee altogether.
Great both, small roast, I warrant thee, do thy best. Thy head must serve my turn this day to set my heart at rest.
And I must have a leg of thee if I can catch it.
First I must quite this brain of thine, if I can reach it.
Well shifted, Will. Now, have it thee, sir knave.
These friscals shall not serve your turn for all your vaunts so brave. Ho, ho! Did I not tell thee thou camest to thy pain?
Help, 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 our master is slain.
Oh, help, help, help!
Where are these lusty bloods that make their match with me? Here lies a pattern for them all to look and to see, to teach them to conspire against my force and might, to promise for their woman's love to vanquish me in fight. Now let them go and crake how wisely they have sped. Such is the end of those that seek this curious dame to wed.
Rub and chafe him. For God's love, haste, see lower, he doth lie.
He is not cold, I warrant him I.
Give a leg, give an arm, arise, arise, hold up thy head, lift up thy eyes.
A leg to stand upright,
An arm to fight amain,
the head to hold thy brains in plight.
the eyes to look again.
Awake, ye drowned powers, ye sprites, for dull with toil, resign to me this care of yours, and from dead sleep recoil. Think not upon your loathsome luck, but arise and dance with us a pluck.
What though thou hast not hit the top of thy desire? Time is not so far spent as yet to cause thee to retire. Arise and ease thyself of pain, and make thee strong to fight again. Let not thy foes rejoice, let not thy friends lament, let not thy lady's rueful voice in sobs and sighs be spent. Thy faith is plight, forget it not, twixt her and thee to knit the knot.
Give a leg, there is no deadly wound, it may be cured well. See here what physic we have found, thy sorrows to expel. The way is plain, the mark is fair, lodge not thyself in deep despair.
What noise is this that ringeth in my ears? Her noise that grieveth my mishap with tears. Oh, my mishap, my desperate mishap, on whom ill fortune poureth down all mishap at a clap. What shall become of me? Where shall I hide my head? Oh, what a death it is to live for him that would be dead. But since it chanceth so, whatever wight thou be, that findeth me here in heavy plight, go tell her this from me. Causeless I perish here, and cause to curse I have the time that erst I lived to love, and now must die her slave. The match was overmuch for me. She understood. Alas, why hath she this delight to lap in guileless blood? How did I give her cause to show me this despite, to match me where she wist full well I should be slain in fight? But go and tell her plain, although too late for me, accursed be the time and hour which first I did her see. Accursed be the wight that willed me first thereto, and cursed be they all at once that had therewith to do. Get thee hence in haste, and suffer me to
die, whom scornful chance and lawless love have slain most traitorous life.
Oh, noble wit, the miracle of God and eke of nature, why cursest thou thyself and every other creature? What causeth thee thine innocent dear lady to accuse? Who would lament it more than she to hear this woeful news? Why, wilt thou die, whereas thou mayest be sure of health? Whereas thou seest a plain pathway to worship and to wealth? Not every foil doth make a fall, nor every soil doth slay. Comfort thyself, be sure thy luck will mend from day to day.
These gentlewomen of good skill are come to make you sounds. They know which way to salve your sore and how to cure your wound. Good sir, be ruled by her then, and pluck your spirit to you. There is no doubt but you shall find your loving lady true.
Will, art thou alive? That doth my heart some ease. The sight of thee, sweet boy, my sorrows doth appease. How hast thou escaped? What fortune thee befell?
It was no trusting to my hands. My heels did serve me well. I ran with open mouth to cry for help amain, and as good fortune would, I hit upon these twain.
I thank both thee and them. What will you have me do?
To rise and dance a little space with us two.
What then?
Oh, that done, repair again to study and instruction. Take better hold by their advice your foe to set upon.
Can any recompense recover this my fall?
My life to yours, it may be mended all.
Speak, Will.
I have no doubt, sir, it shall be as you would wish.
But yet this repulse of mine they will lay in my dish.
No man shall let them know thereof, unless yourself do it.
On that condition, a God's name, fall we to it.
Nay, stand we to it, and let us fall no more.
Will dancing serve, and I will dance until my bones be sore. Pipe us up a galliard, minstrel, to begin.
Come, damsel, in good faith, and let me have you in. Let him practice in dancing all things to make himself breathless.
Enough at once, now leave, let us part.
This exercise hath done me good even to the very heart. Let us be bold with you more acquaintance to take, and dance around yet once more for my sake. Enough is enough. Farewell, and at your need use my acquaintance if I may stand you instead. Right worthy damsels, both. I know you seek no gains in recompense of this desert, your undeserved pains, but look, what other thing my service can devise to show my thankful heart in any enterprise, be as bold therewith as I am bold on you. And thus, with hearty thanks, I take my leaves as now.
Farewell, friend wit, and since you are relieved, think not upon your foil, whereat you were so grieved, but take your heart to you, and give attempt once more. I warrant you to speed much better than before.
One dance for thee and me, my boy. Come on.
Dance you, sir, if you please, and I will look upon.
Why? Oh, this gear does make me sweat and breathe apace.
Sir, ease yourself a while. Here is a resting place.
Oh, well, then make my bed, for I will take a nap.
Sure, and it please your mastership, here in my dame's lap.
Come, lie down, and thou shalt see. None like me to entertain thy bones and thee oppressed with pain. Come, come, and ease thee in my lap, and if it please thee, take a nap that shall delight thee so, that fancies all with thee forego. My musing still, what canst thou find but wants of will and restless mind? A mind that mars and mangles all, and breedeth jars to work thy fall. Come, gentle wit, I thee require, and thou shalt hit thy chief desire, thy hoped prey. First ease thee here, and then away.
My bones are stiff, and I am wearied sore, and still methinks I faint and feeble more and more. Wake me again in time, for I have things to do. And as you will me for my needs, I do assent thereto.
Welcome with all my heart. Sir boy, hold here this fan, and softly cool his face. Sleep soundly, gentlemen. This char is charred well now. Ignorance, my son, thou seest all this? How featly it is done. But wot'st thou why?
Nay, bumfay, mother, not I. But I wot 'tis a gay worked trick and trim. Should rejoice my heart to chance goods with him.
Dost thou remember how many I have served in the like sort?
It doth my heart good to think on this sport.
Wilt thou see this proper fellow served so?
Should give 20 to see it, and 20 mo.
Come off then. Let me see thee in this doublet and his hose.
Shall see a tall fellow, mother, I suppose.
Help off with this sleeve softly for fear of waking. We shall leave this gentleman in a pretty taking. Give me thy coat. Hold this in thy hand. This fellow would be married to science, I understand. But ere we leave him, tell me another tale. Now let us make him look somewhat stale. There lie, and there be, the proverb is verified. I am neither idle, nor yet well occupied.
Mother, must I have his coat? Now, mother, I must. Shall be a lively lad with his hated test.
Sleep sound, and have no care to occupy thy head, as near unto thy body now as if thou hadst been dead. For idleness hath won and wholly thee possessed, and utterly disabled thee from having thy request. Come on with me, my son. Let us go couch again, and let this lusty ruffling wit here like a fool remain.
Up and to go. Why sleep I here so sound? How falls it out that I am left upon the naked ground? God grant it'll all be well whilst I lay dreaming here. Methinks all is not as it was, nor as I would it were, and yet I would not why, but so my fancies give me that some one thing or other in my tire it grieves me. These are but fancies. Let them go. To science now will I, my suit and business yet once again let to labour and apply.
What is become, trow ye, of wit, our spouse that would be?
Daughter, I fear all is not as it should be.
Yes, yes, have you no doubt? All is and shall be well.
What one art thou? Thereof how canst thou tell?
Reason, most noble sir, and you, my lady dear, how have you done in all this time since first I saw you here?
The fool is mad, I ween. Stand back and touch me not.
You speak not as you think, or have you me forgot?
I never saw thee in my life until this time, I wot. Thou art some mad brain, or some fool, or some disguised sot.
Fish hooks, and you know you not me.
I had been well at ease indeed to be acquainted with thee.
Oh, Mary, this is pretty cheer. I have lost myself, I cannot tell where. An old said sore it is, and too true I find. Soon hot, soon cold, out of sight, out of mind. What matter? What meaneth this sudden change? What means this scornful look, this countenance so strange? Is it your fashion to use your lovers at the first, or have all women this delight, to scold and to be cursed?
Good fellow, whence art thou? What is thy name?
I ween ye are disposed to make me some game. I am the son of Lady Nature. My name is Wit.
Thou shalt say so long enough ere we believe it.
Thou wit, thou art some mad brain out of thy wit.
Unto yourselves this trial I remit. Look on me better, and mark my person well.
Thy look is like to one that came out of hell.
If thou be wit, let's see what tokens thou canst tell. How camest thou first acquainted here? What said we? How did we like thy suit? What entertainment made we?
What tokens?
Nay, what tokens? Speak and let us know.
Tokens? Good store, I can rehearse a row. First, as I was advised by my mother nature, my lackey Will presented you with my picture.
Stay there. Now look how these two faces agree.
This is the very same that you received from me.
From thee. Why, look, they are no more like than chalk to cheese, than black to white.
To put thee out of doubt, if thou think we say not true, it were good for thee in a glass thy face to view.
Well remembered, and a glass I have indeed, which glass you gave me to use at need.
Hast thou the glass which I to Wit did give?
I have it in my purse, and will keep it while I live.
This makes me muse, how should he come thereby?
Sir, muse no more, for it is even I to whom you gave the glass, and here it is.
We are content thou try thy case by this.
Either my glass is wonderfully spotted, or else my face is wonderfully blotted. This is not my coat! Where had I this weed? By the mass, I look like a very fool indeed. Oh, hap of haps! A rueful chance to me! Oh, idleness! Were worth the time that I was ruled by thee! Why did I lay my head within thy lap to rest? Why was I not advised by her that wished and willed me best? Oh, 10 times treble blessed wight, whose corrid grave do lie, that are not driven to behold these wretched cares which on me, you furies all, on me, have poured out your spite. Come now, and slay me at the last, and rid my sorrows quite. What coast shall me receive? Where shall I show my head? The world will say, this same is he that, if he list, had sped. This same is he that took an enterprise in hand. This same is he that scarce one blow his enemy did withstand. This same is he that fought and fell in open field. This same is he that in the song of idleness did yield. This same is he that was in way to win the game, to join himself whereby he should have won immortal fame, and now is wrapped in woe and buried in despair. Oh, a happy case for thee if death would rid thee quite of care.
Shame!
Who calls for shame?
Here is a merchant shame for thee to tame.
A shame come to you all, for I'm almost lame with trudging up and down to them that lose their game.
And here is one whom thou must rightly blame, that hath preferred his folly to his fame.
Who? This good fellow? What call you his name?
Wit, that on wooing to Lady Science came.
Come aloft, child, let me see what friscoes you can fit.
If he hath deserved it, let him be well bet.
Spare me with the whip, and slay me with the knife. 10,000 times more dear to me were present death than life.
Nay, nay, my friend, thou shalt not die as yet.
Remember in what case Dame Nature left thee, wit, and how thou hast abused the same. Thou hast deceived all our hope, as all the world may see.
A shame come to't.
Remember what fair words and promises thou didst make, that for my daughter's love no pains thou wouldst forsake. Remember in what sort we had a care of thee. Thou hast deceived all our hope, as all the world may see.
A shame come to't.
Remember how instruction should have been followed still, and how thou wouldst be ruled by none but will, how idleness hath crept and reigneth in thy breast, how ignorance her son hath wholly thee possessed.
Shame come to it.
Oh, woeful wretch, to whom shall I complain? What salve may serve to salve my sore, or to redress my pain?
Nay, I can tell thee more. Remember how thou was subdued of tediousness right now. Remember with what craigs thou went unto his den, against the good advice and counsel of thy men, what recreation did for thee in these thy rueful haps, and how the second time thou fell into the lap.
A shame come to thee.
Me bind thy heavy hand. My grievous faults with shame enough, I understand. Take ruth and pity on my plaint, or else I am forlorn. Let not the world continue thus in laughing me to scorn. Madam, if I be he to whom you once were bent, with whom to spend your time, sometime you were content, if any hope be left, if any recompense be able to recover this forepast negligence, oh, help me now, poor wretch, in this most heavy plight, and furnish me yet once again with tediousness to fight.
Father, be good to these young tender years. See how he doth bewail his folly past with tears.
Hold, slave, take thou his coat for thy labor. We are content, at her request, to take you to our favor. Come in and dwell with us, till time shall serve, and from instructions rule. Look that thou never swerve. Within we shall provide to set you up once more. This scourge hath taught you what default was in you heretofore.
Oh, once in my life I have an odd half hour to spare, to ease myself of all my travail and my care. I stood not still so long this 20 days, I ween, but evermore sent forth on messages I have been. Such trudging and such toil by the mass was never seen. My body is worn out and spent with labor clean. And this it is that makes me look so lean. Lets my growth, that makes me seem a squall. What then? Although my stature be not tall, yet I'm as proper as you, so neat and cleanly, and have my joints a commandment full of activity. What should a servant do with all this flesh and bones that makes them run with leaden heels and stir themselves like stones? Give me a proper squire, much after my pitch, and mark how he from place to place will switch, fair or foul, thick or thin, mire or dusty, cloud or rain, light or dark, clear or misty, ride or run, to or fro, bad or good, a neat little fellow on his business will scood. These great lubbers are neither active nor wise, that feed till they sleep, and sleep out their eyes, so heavy, so dull, so untoward in their doing. It is a good sight to see them leave working. All this while, While I stand prating here, I'd see not my master. I left him snorting here. Huh.
Mine own dear wit, the hope of mine avail, my comfort, my care, my treasure, and my trust, take heart of grace our enemy to assail. Lay up these things which you have heard discussed. So doing, undoubtedly you cannot fail to win the field, to 'scape all these unhappy shares, to glad your friends, to cause your foes to wail, to match with us, and then the gain is yours. Here in this closet ourself will sit and see your manly feats and your success in fight. Strike home courageously for you and me. Learn where and how to fend and how to smite. In any wise be ruled by these three. They shall direct both you and will aright. Farewell, and let our loving counsel be at every hand before you in your fight.
Here in my sight, good madam, sit, and view that when I list, I may look on you. This face, this noble face, this lively hue shall harden me, shall make our enemy rue. Faithful mates that have this care of me, how shall I ever recompense your pains with gold or fee? Come now, and as you please, enjoin me how to do it, and you shall see me pressed and serviceable to it.
Why, master, whither away? What haste? Am I nobody?
What, Will, we may not miss thee for no money.
Welcome, good Will, and do as thou art bid. This day we or never must tediousness be rid.
God speed us well. I will make one at all essays.
Thou shalt watch to take him at certain bays. Come not in the throng, but save thyself always. You twain on either side, first with your sword and buckler. After the first conflict, fight with your sword and daggers. You, sir, with a javelin and your target in your hand, see how you can his hadley strokes withstand. Keep at the foin, come not within his reach, until you see what good advantage he may catch. Then hardily leave him not till time you strike him dead, and of all other parts especially save your head.
Is this all? For I would fain have done.
I would we were at it. I care not how soon.
Now, when you please, I have no more to tell, but heartily to pray for you and wish you well.
I thank you. Go thou and bid the battle, Will.
Come out, thou monster fell! Thou hast desire to spill the knit and linked love of science and of wit? Come, try the quarrel in the field, and fight with us a fit.
Doughty dust these 4 boys will do. I will eat them by morsels, 2 and 2. Thou fightest for a wife, a rod, had I risked this, I would have laid on load, and beat thy brain and this, my club, together, and made thee safe enough for returning hither.
A foul whoreson, what a sturdy thief it is! But we will pelt thee, knave, until for woe thou piss.
Let me come to that elf.
Nay, thou shalt have work enough to save thyself.
Take breath and change your weapons. Play the man.
Somewhat it was that made thee come again. Thou stickest somewhat better to thy tackling, I see. But what, no force? Ye are but Jack Sprat to me.
Hold, here is a morsel for thee to eat.
Here is a pelt to make your knave's heart feel.
There is a blow able to fell a hog.
And here is a foin behind for a mad dog. Hold, the lubber is down.
Strike off his head while I hold him by the crown.
Thou monstrous wretch, thou mortal foe to me and mine, which evermore at my good luck and fortune didst repine, take thee thy just deserts and payment and payment for thy hire. Thy head this day shall me prefer unto my heart's desire.
O noble wit, the praise, the game is thine.
Up his head upon your spear. Lo here, a joyful sign.
O valiant knight, O conquest full of praise!
Oh, bliss of God to see these happy days!
You, my faithful squires, deserve no less, whose tried trust, well known to me in my distress, and certain hope of your fixed faith and fast goodwill, made me attempt this famous fact, most needful to fulfill. To you I yield great thanks. To me redounds the gain. Now, home apace, and ring it out, the tediousness is slain!
Tediousness is slain!
I hear and see the joyful news, wherein I take delight, that tediousness, our mortal foe, is overcome in fight. I see the sign of victory, the sign of manliness, the heap of happy haps, that joy that tongue cannot express. Our welcome fame from day to day forever shall arise.
Avaunt ye griping cares, and lodge no more in me, for you have lost, and I have won continual joys and fee. Now let me freely touch, and freely you embrace, and let my friends with open mouth proclaim my blissful case.
The world shall know, doubt not, and shall blow out your fame. Then true report shall send abroad your everlasting name. Now let our parents dear be certified of this, so that our marriage may forthwith proceed as meet it is. Come after me, all five, and I will lead you in.
My pain is past, my gladness to begin, and my task is done. My heart is set at rest, my foe subdued, my lady's love possessed. I thank my friends, whose help I had at need, and thus you see how wit and science are agreed. We twain, henceforth one soul in bodies twain must dwell. Rejoice, I pray you all, with me, my friends, and fare ye well.
And they all live happily ever after, apart from me, who died horribly. I feel that, you know, I feel a little in memoriam plaque at the end for tediousness. You know, black borders. You know, R.I.P. 1568. So
Tragedy of tediousness.
Yes.
This play.
Yes. Tediousness is slain. It's interesting. It's been a long time since we did the other version. It's interesting that with this text, which doesn't have a fulsome set of stage directions, there are a few stage directions there that sort of are quite important, actually, that aren't there, and occasionally are there, hidden in the dialogue, and was said out loud. But yeah, it's because of the question again of what's happening to our hero when the costume change is going on with ignorance, and at that point much clearer what's going on in the earlier version of this text, also more problematic, whereas this whole business about what he looks like in the mirror, in the glass, is not wholly rendered in this particular iteration in terms of the additional data we need there. Thoughts, Lois?
I think there's something slightly odd in the middle there. There seem to me to be lines coming in the wrong order. I mean, I think our people are talking about the enemy he's going to meet without anything having been said about him. And then later, science tells him about tediousness. There's something in there that I think should be moved around somehow.
Well, we can look.
Yes, I noticed I had a line as wit where I said I will prove him before there was any information about him to fight, like a couple of scenes before.
Yeah.
So we may have got a scene out of sync. Okay, well, it's good to know. And this is where I go back and find in the first look that we found that, and I should have figured it out and sorted it. Let's be clear, the first look was about 4 years ago. I've forgotten this stuff. Alan.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is one that would actually make a lot more sense if it was actually stood up on a real stage with real people, because there's an awful lot of business going on, I think, which is implied in the text, but it's not actually explicitly noted.
And between that and the songs as well,
yeah.
I mean, the visualization of tediousness. I mean, the tediousness monster by its nature is just incredibly fun and silly. And a lot of play can be had at that. And with all of the iterations of this, tediousness is not tedious. In the earlier version, he does talk a lot longer. But his verse is actually really quite fun because it's not quite Skeltonics, but he has a lengthy, sort of very dancey bit of text. This one, he's relatively brief in his exchanges, but there's nothing tedious about tediousness, which is good because otherwise that would be very tedious. But then you perhaps should be more glad to kill him. I feel sad that he's dead. I really do. Lynn.
Oh. Well. Yeah, I feel sad that your tediousness is dead because it was so awesome. But I like the idea of, like, yes, tedium is the enemy of learning. I mean, that's what it is. Basically, the moral of the story is do the homework, even if it's boring. You know? One observation I was going to make is that a lot of times in verse plays where you've got rhymed couplets or a rhyme scheme, the syntax seems really weird and the grammar seems really forced. And I feel like this flows really naturally for something that's in that format. It's not hard to tell where the sentences are going.
No, and you can play with them a little bit. They're not too straitjacketed in what they're doing as well. So you've got a bit of playfulness in there, which it's quite difficult with this kind of meter and rhyme scheme. Lois.
Yeah, I think on the whole, the play would work very well, especially, of course, for any kind of academic audience. The only bit I thought was rather difficult was that initial dialogue between Wit and Nature about, why aren't you born intelligent instead of having to do all this study, and that whole argument, which is actually quite interesting, but I think might be a bit difficult for an audience to take in, especially coming right at the beginning the way it does.
It is frustrating because, of course, we don't have the earlier version of the play's version of that opening scene. So it's like, this is the version we've got, and it's like, I kind of wish it was better. I don't even think, it has to be that high stakes in terms of, audience. I think any kind of learning situation, this is designed. I mean, it's designed clearly for young students on some level, either to be performing it or, for that matter, watching it. We've got several plays like this where the audience / the performers are potentially the same people. These are effectively much more what we'd call a school play than a lot of boys' company stuff or other things that we've got. This very much feels like it's doing that job. Yeah. I mean, what you've got on top of the stuff that's really quite fiddly and complicated, you're attacking a tediousness monster. You're being wooed to sleep by ignorance, and there are quite obvious, straightforward things that can also be shown visually.
Yeah, I guess it was the ages that struck me. I mean that Wit is 17 and Will is 11. And 17 is actually rather late to be going to university. I mean, it's the people went as early as, I think, 14 in the 16th century. But it struck me that this attempt to learn and the hardness of it and so on sort of fitted more with the university course. But on the other hand, Will is clearly a schoolboy, and part of the fun is, I think, that he's probably quite small as well, and keeps, trying to act bigger than he is, and gets annoyed at being called a boy instead of your man.
Erin.
Well, I mean, to that point of the casting, it kind of does scream school play, right? Because that would be what you'd have. You'd have a newcomer who looks to be about 13, 11, and then you'd have a senior who's old enough to play Wit. So
Yeah, and the precise casting logic doesn't have to be exact in that sense. As long as someone looks like they could be a bit older and a bit younger, then that will do within the logic. Alexandra.
I think there's something interesting about the intended audience, because if we look at a contemporary example, young adult novels are always about someone who is far too young to be engaged in the adventures they're engaging in, but a little bit older than the intended audience. So the idea that that Wit is 17, if this is a play for sort of 11, 12-year-olds or maybe a little bit older, then you get someone that you can identify with, or you get a figure in Will that is, oh yes, the annoying younger sibling who's 11, and obviously I at 12 am so much more mature. And you also get an aspirational figure, and it's easy to follow, and it's free of smut, almost entirely, and it's also free of most sorts of isms that we often encounter problematically in our plays. There's I haven't noticed any racism, for example. There's very little against gender.
There kind of is. It's just because there isn't any explicit stage direction demonstrating it. We kind of didn't notice. But in terms of if we go with the original version of this, and I think as we got to the bit when he's had the costume change, it's explicitly made clear that they paint his face. And so all the stuff with the face there is doing that on some level. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's deliberately a racial signifier, but obviously it will have that connotation when played in terms of any kind of context. We've already talked about this in previous sessions about my iteration of this is that this is he gets turned into a clown, and he gets a clown face paint put on him, which fits the whole ignorance and thing. So it's a very easily solvable problem that sidesteps that reasonably well, and that's sort of where I'm coming from it. I say I don't think that's necessarily the intent of what the text is doing, but it's always going to be something that is going to be taken from it. There is a reference to as different from white from black is there in the text, so it is a little more ambiguous than that. It's just, as I say, because we didn't have a stage direction saying that's what's happening, it kind of flew past. But I say the earlier version does make that very explicit. Lois.
Yeah, I thought the reference was to spots on his face, though. And I think we get that also in one of those Three Ladies of London plays, don't we? Somebody, the spotted conscience is also depicted with spots. I mean, admittedly, they're probably black spots, but we could perfectly well do them with some other color. And I don't think it necessarily has to be racial.
And also, well, that suggests what's she doing with him while singing the song? So it moves us slightly out of the school play territory. But yeah, that might just be down to how quickly they've got to do the makeup at that point as well. As I say, this is something that, for our purposes, is a question about how we actually do that and what the connotations, denotations of that are in performance. Other thoughts about this? I'd say it bounces. It's short. It bounces along. It's surprisingly enjoyable, and we get to spend a lot of time worrying about how we're going to do Tediousness. I want Tediousness to be a giant semi-puppet monster that you spend your entire production budget on, even though it's probably just made of cardboard and papier-mâché. There's something very playful about how this could be costumed. It could be basically all made of cardboard gaffer taped together with some fancy paper, because it sort of needs to be a bit childlike, and I think that's quite fun. Alexandra.
I was just thinking further to the point about school play, that rather than it being a play that you would put on to present to schools, I think cut down significantly and only slightly simplified in language in order for the cuts to work. So without doing much to alter the actual early modern English, this could be a very accessible way into early modern drama for to be done as a school play for a very young bunch of performers, and it would be a nice introduction, a nicer introduction than what is obligatory on the curriculum, and a way into a way past the language. So that if they were to get to more complicated stuff later on, it's not so much of a barrier.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, and it's one of the things of looking through what's in our repertoire of things that might be appropriate or work for schools. The advantage of this is it's sort of a morality play, but there really isn't much God here. It is a very secular play. And that's often a barrier sometimes with some of the earlier material that we might say, oh, we'll take that to a schools, and then you hit the that barrier, which becomes a bit of a problem. But with this, it's about learning, it's about education, and you can I say, yeah, you're right. You can make those points, and we've got 2 other versions of this play as well, so we can also look for other material that we might want to move around or steal if we think they're better in the other version, or a way of smoothing some of the gaps as we look at an adaptation. I think that's absolutely cool. Yes, Olga.
Yeah, I absolutely second that. These were exactly my thoughts as we were reading. I totally enjoyed how it's the pace of it, how it's bouncing along, and I was thinking about using the potential to use it with younger players, because I'm teaching at the moment. English theatre at schools for mostly where the kids mostly have English as second language. Only some of them are bilingual. So yes, introduction to early modern theatre is quite a tricky thing. But here I immediately saw this potential because it has such a wonderful pace. It's so playful, and it's I almost see how you can shorten it. Even as we were reading, I was reading it first time, and yeah, it's not a huge problem to cut it really nicely, as you say, Alexandra, and make it work for young people to be introduced into early modern theatre. So yeah. Great one.
And when they're slightly further up the educational ladder, we can do the Parnassus and the university. how going to university is a waste of time and you won't get a job. Lynn.
Yeah, and as to the sort of school play idea, I think that younger people will be more accepting of the allegory too. I mean, there's something childlike about the whole idea of allegories. I think that they find it less ridiculous than adults. Well, it's like, oh, this person represents learning and this person represents boredom. Like, that's just sort of like an imaginative gameplay that I think children would find congenial, and that adults find like, oh, that's must we.
I also quite like the idea if you're taking this show around in a very much a TIE way, is that you can actually, if you're workshopping some stuff with the kids as well, you can engage them in being the tediousness monster, or just bring lots of boxes and get them to dress up. You could actually make them part of the show in a way that would be really quite fun. And of course you've got songs, and that's another thing of going to schools is making sure that they get sent the songs in advance so they can learn them and they can sing along with you, and you can make that part of the structure. So okay. I think that would be lovely. Olga.
Also, as a staging idea, if we're presenting it to the ages that to these school kids, yeah, whose age is just a bit lower, and they are not maybe too comfortable with the language, you can make them play as puppets, and older actors speak for them, and I'm sure kids will find it great fun.
Yes,
with
and
playing the allegories. Yeah, they like it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that seems to have gone down fairly well. We've got another one to do, which we'll probably do relatively soon. I don't know when. We'll do version 3, which is a very different kettle of fish. It's like every iteration gets slightly further away from the platonic ideal of this play. So We shall see what happens then. But all that remains, thank all the wonderful readers for all their wonderful reading. Thank you very much, everyone, and goodbye.